Have you ever imagined a single question powerful enough to shake millions of fans at once? What kind of moment could silence an entire global fandom in seconds, leaving them staring at their screens, questioning everything they thought they knew? Before we go any further, take a second and ask yourself this. What would it take to truly surprise Jungkook? And more importantly, what kind of answer could he give that would completely change the narrative overnight? Stay with this story until the end, because what unfolded wasn't just unexpected, it was unforgettable. And if you're part of ARMY, make sure you like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe, because moments like this don't come often, and you'll want to be part of every second of AT first. Everything felt normal. The atmosphere was calm, almost too calm, like the quiet before something no one could predict. Jungkook appeared as he always does, composed, warm, effortlessly connecting with fans in a way that feels personal even through a screen. There was laughter, there were smiles, and there was that familiar energy that has made him one of the most beloved artists in the world. Nothing seemed out of place. Nothing hinted at what was about to happen. But then, something shifted and IT started subtly, almost unnoticeable to anyone not paying close attention. A change in tone, a slight pause, a moment where the conversation seemed to hesitate, as if time itself was holding its breath. And then came the question, delivered by HYBE. It didn't sound dramatic at first. There were no raised voices, no immediate shock in the delivery. But the meaning behind it, that was where everything changed. Fans didn't realize it instantly, but something about that question carried weight. It wasn't just another routine inquiry about music, performances, or future plans. It felt deeper, more personal, almost as if it was reaching into a space that Jungkook doesn't often reveal publicly. And in that exact moment, millions of viewers felt it at the same time. There was a pause that IT was brief, just a few seconds, but it felt endless. Jungkook didn't answer immediately. His expression shifted, not dramatically, but enough for fans to notice. His eyes, usually so steady, seemed to search for the right words. And that silence, it spoke louder than anything else. It sparked questions, theories, and emotions all at once. Why did he hesitate? What was going through his mind? And why did this question feel so different from anything he had been asked before? When he finally spoke, everything changed. His voice was calm, but there was something beneath it. Something real. Something raw. He wasn't just answering, he was revealing. Each word felt intentional, carefully chosen, as if he understood the weight of what he was about to say. And as his response unfolded, fans began to realize that this wasn't just another moment. This was something bigger. What he said didn't come with dramatic flair. There were no exaggerated reactions, no over-the-top emotions. But that's exactly what made it so powerful. It felt honest. It felt genuine. And it felt like a glimpse into a side of Jungkook that fans rarely get to see at this level. Almost instantly, the reaction was explosive. Across social media, armies began responding in real time. Comments flooded in faster than anyone could keep up. Some fans expressed shock, unable to process what they had just heard. Others felt emotional, connecting deeply with the vulnerability in his words. And then there were those who simply sat in silence, trying to understand what this moment meant not just for Jungkook, but for everything moving forward. Because that's the thing about moments like this. They don't just exist in isolation. They create ripples. They make people think, reflect, and question. And that's exactly what happened here. Fans began revisiting everything. Past interviews, old performances, even lyrics that once seemed simple suddenly carried new meaning. Every detail was analyzed, every word re-examined. It was as if this one answer had unlocked a new perspective, a deeper understanding of Jungkook as both an artist and a person. But perhaps the most powerful part of all this wasn't the shock. IT was the connection that I end that moment. The distance between Jungkook and his fans felt smaller than ever. He wasn't just a global superstar on a stage. He was someone sharing a real thought, a real feeling in real time. And for millions of people watching, that meant everything. There was also a sense of uncertainty that followed. Not fear, but curiosity. What does this mean for the future? Is this the beginning of a new chapter? Or simply a moment of reflection in an already incredible journey? No one had clear answers, and that uncertainty only added to the intensity of the situation. Meanwhile, discussions continued to grow. Different interpretations emerged, each one offering a new angle, a new way of understanding what had just happened. Some believed this was a sign of change, a subtle hint at something bigger coming. Others felt it was a moment of honesty, nothing more, nothing less. But regardless of the perspective, everyone agreed on one thing: this moment mattered. And then came the emotional wave. Fans began sharing messages of support, appreciation, and love. They reminded Jungkook that no matter what changes may come, he would never face them alone. That sense of unity, of shared emotion, became one of the most beautiful outcomes of the entire situation. It wasn't just about reacting, it was about understanding and standing together. What makes this story even more compelling is how unexpected it truly was. There were no warnings, no hints, no build-up leading to this moment. It happened naturally, almost quietly, yet the impact was anything but small. It proved that sometimes the most powerful moments are the ones no one sees coming. As time passed, the initial shock began to settle, but the significance of what happened did not fade. If anything, it became clearer. This wasn't just a viral moment. It was a meaningful one. A moment that reminded fans why they connect so deeply with Jungkook in the first place. Because beyond the performances, the fame, and the global recognition, there is authenticity. And that authenticity is what truly resonates. Even now, the question still lingers in the minds of fans around the world. Not just the one asked by HYBE, but the ones that followed. What happens next? What does this reveal about the future? And how will this moment shape everything that comes after? No one knows for sure, but maybe that's what makes it so powerful, because in a world where so much is planned, scripted, and expected, a moment like this stands out. It feels real, it feels human, and it reminds everyone that even the biggest stars can still surprise us in the most unexpected ways. And as ARMY continues to reflect on this unforgettable exchange, one thing is certain: this wasn't just about a question. It was about an answer that no one expected, yet everyone felt. An answer that didn't just fill the silence, but transformed it into something meaningful, and an answer that, in its own quiet way, changed everything. As the moment slowly fades and the noise begins to settle, one thing remains clear. This wasn't just another passing headline, and it certainly wasn't just another question. What happened between HYBE and Jungkook will stay in the minds of fans for a long time, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it felt real. It felt honest. And in a world full of scripted moments, that kind of authenticity is rare. For ARMY, this wasn't just something to watch, it was something to feel. The silence, the hesitation, and the words that followed created a moment that connected millions of people across the world at the same time. It reminded everyone that behind the global superstar is a human being who carries thoughts, emotions, and questions just like anyone else. And maybe that's why this moment hit so hard, because it wasn't about having all the answers. It was about witnessing something genuine, something unfiltered, something that made people pause and reflect. It left fans not only surprised, but also closer to Jungkook than ever before. Now the question is no longer just what was asked. The real question is, what comes next? Only time will reveal the answer, but one thing is certain. ARMY will be there, watching, supporting, and standing beside Jungkook no matter what path he chooses. Because moments like this don't break the bond between an artist and their fans, they strengthen it. And as this story continues to unfold, one truth remains undeniable. This wasn't just a question.